Alright, we got Hobo Kid. Quinn, Chapter 2, now available. Alright, new story, Quinn's Adventures. So now we can share Quinn's stories with the next person that we meet. And we can start cross-pollinating all these tales. That's cool. You're not gonna narrate for me? Alright. As you walk down the road, a black crow flutters down to land on your path. It looks at you, cocks his head, and speaks. Well, you've got a long, long road ahead, don't you? All these people to chase down. Or so I hear. I got some experience when it comes to chasing folks. Well, tell me about it. Well, if you want, you could find your friend again. Ask him more about their life. Might want better stories this time, though. Didn't they tell you where they were headed next? But hey, the world's full of people. You can find another friend like that if you went looking around. There's more than one interesting person in this land. For sure. Gives a gravelly laugh. That's what humans say anyway. And with that, he launches into the air and disappears. Okay. Left control to whistle. To match up the notes, use left arrow. Oh. Now it's like Simon Says, I see. It's a bit of a weird choice. Like adding that. Also, I don't know how far away the like tooltip for new stories is. And it's interesting because you can only whistle yourself in a straight line because you have to take your right hand off the mouse. Right, and then M is our map to show us, yeah, where we've been. Here we go. All right, let's learn a story from here. What's this one?
As you walk along the river near an unfinished bridge, a man with a tool belt catches sight of you. Hey, over there, he calls out. You look like you could use a quick way to get some hard-earned money. Hard-earned is right. The bridge hangs high over a perilous drop.
I accept.
Great, he exclaims. Suppose you'll want a safety belt. We Thunderbird people don't need 'em. We fly when we fall. He chuckles.
Okay.
You find yourself up high, looking over the rushing river that crashes around the foundation of the bridge. As you work side by side, the man mentions, "You can see Thunderbirds up here if you know how to look." You ask him to explain. Practice your peripheral vision, if you dare. Last thing you need up here is for them to see you seeing them and come swooping at you, he says laughingly. You only see the clouds thicken. It sure does pass the time working. The man pays you well when you're done with the job.
Pretty cool. The bridge builders. Okay, now I think I might have missed one, but this one. Yeah, there's some over here.
His clothes are expensive, but unkempt. A tailored jacket stretched and warped out of its best fit by long days on the road. His thinning frame weighs down the boxcar next to yours. You got a light, friend?
Ah, it's a pentacle. So this is gonna be about like money or something like that?
You offer a match, which bends and nearly snaps as he scratches it against the pitted iron edge of the boxcar. Thanks, he mumbles, perching one last cigarette on his lip. Don't rightly know where I'm going. You notice how deeply wrinkled his clothes are. It's as though a huge hand plucked him from a high society party.
Pretty cool.
And crumpled him up like a sheet of paper. Don't rightly know how I got going either. They built a railway just past Missy Hudson's estate. Damned racket ruined our soiree. Might have been a few bottles of Armagnac too many when I walked down the tracks to tell them to keep it quiet. He drags on the cigarette, but you never see him exhale.
It's the little tiny notes like that are so cool. Like, that's such a good, like, if you're looking for ways to make NPCs seem like interesting or cool in a role-playing game, find little quirks like that, little things you can point out. Because, like, if I was playing a game and someone said, like, the GM said to me, you see the man take a long drag on a cigarette, but he never seems to exhale, I would just be like, wow. Obviously, this guy's like a ghost or like something. Yeah, the last bottle of Armagnac, that guy's totally a ghost. He got hit by a train. Now, is this another? Yeah, this is another new story here. Okay. Ooh. Or it's something different? The bar is crowded with people from every walk of life. Businessmen, young men in muddy overalls, and a crowd of girls in slinky dresses preparing their blood alcohol content for a night on the town. But it's the squat, sharp-eyed man in a fedora who catches your attention. He launches into a wild story about the haunted mill operated by ghosts. Halfway through, he stops, recognizing the look on your face. Oh, I see. Okay, so this is like a... Interesting, okay. You know this one. You tell him the story about the creepy mill. That's it. I think I like mine more. More exciting, sure. So that's why I'll keep telling it my way. Let's get another round and do a competitive test on the other folks here. By the end of the night, the whole bar agrees the new version is better. It might be because your new friend bought them all drinks. Story grew in the telling. Right, the haunted mill is like better now because it's getting around. Interesting. That's cool.
Against a fence and turns to face you as you pass him by. At his back is a bag full of birdseed. He assures you that the gawky birds perching on his body are the last remaining passenger pigeons.
So this is a story about love. Love of bird.
They look extinct to you?
You're not sure those dull gray pigeons look anything like the pictures you've seen of passenger pigeons, though you can't help thinking they stare at you a little too intently.
Say, you like birds?
Sure, buddy. I love birds.
They're lovely creatures. Guileless, really.
Cabbage.
Hunted damn near to extinction, weren't you?
Oh.
He strokes one of his birds under the chin. You think you see drips of blood flecking the creature's dirty gray head.
Oh, dear. Excuse me.
You sense it's about time you start moving on.
You be kind to the little birds now, you hear?
You hurry along the road, though the flapping of ungainly wings seems to follow you for hours.
Dude's like, yeah, he's a bird necromancer. That's a creepy story. Man who loved birds so much he couldn't think to let him die. A jet black crow lands on a low branch of a twisted tree. Ah, look at you, it calls. Think you got some good stories already? Well, I heard better, much better. Seems to wink at you. Want to hear my tricks? The ones you got now? Pathetic stuff. Tell those stories around, they'll come back more exciting. So always listen to the stories other folks tell. Their tales are less true, sure, but more useful around the campfire. The boss has a point about the true ones, though. They're extra interesting. You learn a couple folks' true life stories, and everyone will like them, no matter what kind of story they think they want to hear. Well, everyone's the captain of their destiny. Ain't no bootstraps in the world can save you now, but the choices you make, they change the kind of story you can tell. Choose wisely, or don't. Okay. So we learn all these stories, and then we can basically boost them up as we go. Let's see what New York has to say. Let's start with trying to earn some money. You wander the streets of the city looking for a way to make some cash. I'm allergic to being poor, I guess. Let's panhandle this time. No luck. No luck. Everyone here's a tight-ass snob. Time to go, probably. The air stinks of gasoline and trash, and you're boxed in by brick, but damn, there's something invigorating about that stink. God, you feel like there's an engine in your chest. Well, let's explore.
The engines belch black smoke as the ferry churns gray water into froth. A broad-shouldered figure leans out over the rail, eyeing the skyscrapers on the horizon. Nearby, a man and a woman speak in low, urgent voices. He takes her wrist gently. She is weeping softly.
So I can get another story about love, or I guess a story about travel. I have some love stories already. Let's grab a travel story. Because remember, Wolf said that I'm supposed to collect a bunch of different stories.
The man gives you a once-over as you approach. His newsboy cap is ragged with age.
You look familiar.
Hey, Bjorn.
Did I meet you at Union Square?
I don't think so.
The man shrugs.
Maybe somewhere else. You look like you get around. Me too. When Gramsci was arrested, we all had to flee. The futurists and the syndicalists and all the rest scattered across Europe. The luckiest ended up
This guy's a
here.
fucking communist.
He nods decisively, proudly.
We continued the work.
So Gramsci is he's referring to as Antonio Gramsci, who's a like a Marxist philosopher and politician. Yeah, he's a kind of like a neo-Marxist. Yeah. Cool, the determined socialist in New York. Oh, that's awesome. Rad. Okay, well, let's head on our way to Philly, I guess. You again, tutorial crow. You notice a black crow sitting on a fence post, watching you with unsettling intensity. Hey, it blurts. Hey, friend, you heard about trains? It gives a throaty cackle. Locomotion, that's the life. I got some good travel tips here. Ever ride a train? With your budget, you'll need to hop on at a train yard, though. Fast and convenient, but the railroad bulls don't like it when you ride the empty boxcars. If you get caught, you'll get beaten. Hops and pecks at something on the ground. On the positive side, maybe you'll meet someone with stories to trade. But if you don't like the sound of that, you could hitchhike. Find a friendly car. I feel sorry for you landlubbers. No wings, just motors. You can't even cross rivers when you want to. Only at safe crossings. You notice its beak doesn't move as it speaks. Before you tell anything else about it, it flies off. Okay.
The stream is a clear, reflective shade of blue, unusual in this region where bog iron colors the river's brown. Across the way, a goat with great leather wings laps up the water, its sunken red eyes fixed on your every movement.
Oh yeah, that's the Jersey Devil for sure.
You now notice the unnatural absence of wildlife. No fish swim in the stream. No birds sing in the trees. The winged goat drinks with a forked tongue, only abstractly concerned with your presence.
So now I could approach the goat, but I could also drink the water. Now I don't think I don't have the this type of story yet. So let's drink the weird water. Let's drink with the goat.
You cup the water in your hands, ice cold somehow, and take a swallow, soothing the coarseness in your parched throat. Clear as the water is, the stream bed
Yeah, I
is
want to get on that
invisible,
Mothman jam.
even looking straight down. Your feet don't reach the bottom, so you float in the cool water, feeling washed clean. The ripples flow as far as you can see, never fading.
Wavette goat.
The winged goat snorts and heads in the other direction.
The winged goat by the pristine water. Like, I love that. As soon as I cross over into Jersey, that's the first thing I see. There's another camp over there, so let's pick up some stories in Philly, and then we'll head over towards that camp.
Muddling through the dark, you stumble into the path of the white deer. Its beauty strikes you at once. It is
Such a
something
good illustration.
otherworldly, beyond borders. A moon swimming in the void. Human shouts not far away break the spell. The deer's ears prick up. This thing is being hunted.
I'm gonna help this deer.
You know a way out of here. As the hunter's cries get louder, you approach the deer carefully, palms outstretched. As you grow close, your features become clearer in the light of the deer's aura. It bolts
Damn.
into the path of an oncoming train.
Well, that didn't go the way I had hoped. Oh well.
By nightfall, the hospitality of this sleepy hamlet, combined with their superstitious tales, has both overstuffed your stomach and filled you with a hollow dread. Folks say these woods are full of apparitions, witches, and worse. You curse yourself for getting on the road
This
so
headless
late.
motherfucker. Yeah, exactly. Hospitality of this sleepy hollow?
In the moonlight, every valley and hollow at the feet of the Tappan Zee seems like a stolen shred of the abyss itself. Fireside tales seem less fanciful, and every cackling crow and moaning whippoorwill seems like a demon perched on the shivering, spindly trees. But something cuts through the noise. The muffled sound of hooves galloping on the cold, muddy road. When he finally slows his horse alongside you, it's as though he had just appeared out of the mist.
Welcome back, Halfling. Thank you.
He's astride a gigantic black courser, and though his boots are muddy and ragged, he wears an immaculate coat with great, shining buttons. From his saddle hangs an antiquated flintlock and a cavalry saber. In the darkness, you can hardly see above his towering shoulders. His voice is a rumbling croak, deep, but as though his throat is filled with thorns. Have you happened upon a cannonball around here? You can tell English isn't his first language. German is. His hand, so
Yeah,
pale it's
Hessian?
almost
He's a
blue in
Hessian
the
for
moonlight,
sure.
grips the reins in a fist.
So the Hessians, they're it's the name of a place in Germany, but they're like a military regiment. I guess they're mercenaries? Huh. Sorry, I haven't. We'll run the hell away. Let's stick around and talk to this guy.
You mumble an apology and watch as he silently rides away, back into the mist. He's cloaked in black, you notice from behind, but the blood running down over his shoulders glints crimson in the moonlight.
Damn. Oh, and here's another story that's growing. Oh no, this is another tutorial one, I guess. You spend a while in the cool shade at the gas station. You notice 3 kids sitting beside their family car while the parents argue loudly with the cashier inside. Oh no, that's right. They just don't narrate all of these ones. The children seem embarrassed. You see the older brother lean over and distract his siblings with a story. He starts telling them a story about the taxi that shows its riders the future. Right, the parabola. Oh, that's so cool, future cab. You realize almost instantly he's telling a new version of the tale of the odd silent taxi cab in Boston with a new exciting over-the-top detail. When the parents come stomping furiously out of the gas station, you make yourself scarce, missing the ending of the boy's new story, but the part you heard is definitely easy to remember. It'll stick with you for a while. Yes, mystery cab. Let's go tell somebody some stories. Oh yeah, the Headless Hessian would be an awesome, like, NPC or ghost or something in a, like, Revolutionary War game. Hell yeah. I have a little Z logo over my head. I'm not sure what that means. Let's make camp and see what happens. Mason by Sidney Meeker, Chapter 1.
My twin brother Paul and I always got into trouble, but we were good.
Wow. Immediate, like, just massive onslaught of aesthetics here, right? Like, guy with one leg, military background, you immediately just start getting, like, so much going on right away.
We didn't do nothing to anybody till we left.
Didn't do nothing to anybody till we left.
Then we hurt a lot of people. Me, more so than Paul, because well, he didn't make it through. The march I was on, the bonus army, it's less a bonus and more an acknowledgement of what I've had to suffer. Civilians will never understand. Know any good jokes? I'm not so good at telling them anymore.
All right, he wants a funny story. I know stories about the devil. Oh, that's a cool devil. I know stories about freedom. Stories about travel. Authority, the past, future, family, love, nature, country, home, sadness. What's a funny story? What's a funny... I mean, I have that story from before. This was the story I told when that other person wanted a joke. Let's see what else I got. No, wait, I don't want to leave. I just want to back out to my other cards. Yeah, the brother story might be a little sad for this guy. Because his brother is dead. Pigeon Keeper. The Winged Goat. I could tell him a story about Quinn's adventures, but it's not really funny. Like, I don't really know that many funny stories. I guess I'm the fool, right? Look, there's me. Hi. Little happy son. Yeah, I don't have any good stories about, like... I don't have any good stories about the funny things in the Depression. Gosh, I don't know. I think probably Quinn's Adventures. Let's try that one. Because it's like a kid, an adventuresome kid. Focusing on the funny parts. There we go.
Wish I could tell that one to my sister. Travel. Well, this walk feels like a little bit of freedom now and again. The flowers along the road make for a fine company.
He's so sad. Look at his sad face.
So anyway, tell me a funny story? You seem like you know a few good ones.
Dude, I already told you the only funny story I know. Stop asking me for funny. Let's tell him a story about freedom. How about a story about, I mean, the deer story is funny, but it's ironic, so, like, it's not really funny. Maybe a story about the kid running away. Boy. I know, we really need some funny ones. I don't know any funny stories. Like wave at goat. I guess I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna tell him the story about the men mistaking each other, because we know that the other guy thought it was funny. Quinn thought it was funny, so. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Paul would have liked that one.
Aw, there you go. That reminds him of his brother, not in a sad way.
The past doesn't even feel like it happened. It feels like it's happening in every moment, in every slumber.
Arrow Bane and Mountain of Bears, welcome back. Steampunk Devil, hello.
When your memories come back to you, do they clutch at you? At your heart? Do you know any happy stories? Hopeful ones?
Yes. Definitely I could find a happy story for you. How about that story about the time I got a deer hit by a car? Alright, what's a happy one? What's a good happy story? Determined socialists? The lighthouse feels like my happiest story. This is the part where he's like, gays, I can't stand that shit. Nope, look, see, he's a good guy too.
There's some hope left for you too, you know. Don't give it away too quickly.
That's right.
Love? It was a real long time ago. I pulled a ribbon on her hair, her pigtails came undone, and she tattletaled on me. Never really tried after that.
Wow, that's a little grim.
Tell me a happy story. Something to make the world seem kind.
What's interesting is this whole gameplay section feels like Persona. It feels like convincing monsters to join your team in Persona. Only it's more obfuscated. Okay, so he wants a happy story. Let's tell him that story about the. Oh, I can't tell ones from the same card. So let's tell him the story about the seagulls.
For a moment there, just a moment, I felt better about it all too. My family, they were good to me, Ma and Pa, and to Paul, and to my sister Jessie. Some days I wish I could find Jessie again and have her help me. She always liked Paul best.
Ooh, sad.
Maybe it'll take my mind off my sorrow to hear about somebody else's. Tell me a sad story.
All right, we're going to tell him a sad story. I got a couple of those, but we're going to tell him about the elegant woman in a small town near Portland, Maine. It's got a ribbon in it. He mentioned a ribbon.
I wish I could talk about what happened in the trenches the way you do. I'd help someone to understand. Mods say that we only get as much sadness as we make. Paul's ghost has provided me a little extra.
Damn.
Here's the sun. I've got to go. I'm headed up the road this way. Will our paths cross?
Out into Pennsylvania.
The days come and go and the terrors return. They'll never be able to pay back what they owe me, but I'll always keep at 'em. What about you? Is there something somebody owes you?
All right, veteran of the Great War. So that's Mason. Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, my anti-aliasing was low. I'm gonna adjust the music a little. It's still quite a bit too loud. Doesn't feel like it's going down, but okay. Let's head on into old Washington. Look at all those bridges. All right, let's see if maybe we can finally make some damn money. You wander the streets of the city looking for a way to make some cash. You hit 4 factories, but nobody's hiring today. Soon you notice you're cruising around the city with the same loose group of rejected laborers, coughing men in baggy clothes, women with babies tied to their back, and an older fellow with just one hand. After the 5th factory, everyone makes a silent agreement to give up. You sit on the curb across from the factory doors and eat your sad little lunches together in silence. Screw this city, huh? Captain Wilhelm. Thank you. Welcome to the squad. God damn. It's like there's some kind of depression. It's hard to look at these shining buildings in the direct sunlight. You feel like an ant crawling among the tombs of giants. Away from the monuments, though, you'll find a city that's a little more human. I've been to Washington, D.C. Just once, though. Right. He'll save children, but not the British children. This city's got like 30 goddamn dicks. Let's explore.
The mailman's uniform is dated and worn. He sits on the edge of the road, head in hands. He looks up as you approach.
Daddy, thank you.
Can you help? Car clipped me. I think my legs... Well, I'd appreciate it if you could deliver this for me. He holds out a brown envelope.
I am going to deliver the letter. The sooner the better.
The letter's addressed to a James Gibson Sr., 120 J Street. But the city stymies you. The blocks run straight from I to K. You stop a man for directions, but he shakes his head and laughs. Someone's playing a joke on you. There's no J Street.
No, I might keep looking. It's magic.
Over here. A woman in a brown coat
So I'm telling you.
overheard your question. She steers you down an alley. Someone's chalked a big orange J on one wall.
I thought Clovis was late. Go left up ahead. Old Man Gibson's the third on the right.
Did you know that Washington, D.C. was built by Freemasons? And that if you look at a map of Washington, D.C., you can see sacred runes and strange arcane sigils? Hey, July. If you maybe you missed it the last stream, thank you. I saw your donation, but I think you had left by the time I got to notice it. All right, Old Man Gibson, third on the right.
As you round the corner, the world changes. J Street is a place out of time. Like the city forgot an entire street a century ago and carried on around it, oblivious. Even the noise and bustle of D.C. can't penetrate this little pocket.
When I was a kid, when I was like, I don't know, 13 or 14, for about a year, I was obsessed with Freemasons. Like, I read about them. I read books about them. I, like, scoured conspiracy theory, like, bulletin boards on the internet. Yeah, like, it was a thing. I was, for a very brief time, I was very into Freemasons. I don't know why. Just a thing. Just, you know, kids get obsessed with stuff.
The man who answers is ancient and stooped. He peers at the letter.
I think it's from my son.
I don't see so well anymore. Will you read it to me? You tear the letter open. It isn't good news.
I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna tell him something that isn't the scary truth. I could always use another sad story. You know what? Let's tell this guy the truth, because true stories are important.
He fights it, but his face crumbles. Tears roll down his cheeks. It's better to know. I've been waiting a long time for this. His shaking hand takes the letter. Thank you for telling me.
Oh, if you want a tabletop RPG that's all about conspiracy theories, there's an old campaign setting for a game called Alternity, called Dark Matter, and in it, all the conspiracy theories are true. And you work for an organization. It's kind of like X-Files-y. It's really cool. It's a really cool setting. I really, really like it. It's one of my favorite, like, 90s RPGs. Yeah. All right, The Strange Street, Lost in Time. I don't have any money, so can't do anything here. Let's leave. What is this? Oh, hop a train. Okay. Oh, and there's a couple of, like, other... What are these buildings? It's got a little scribble above it. Oh, it's for crossing the river. Okay. Well, shit. Like, I could head down here. There's like this miner dude. Whoa. What's up, America? Damn. You're huge, girl. Alright, well, let's cross the river here. Cross the River Ohio. We're gonna head into Richmond. I think we'll work our way down to Florida. I guess we'll follow the, what highway is this? I want to go through Carolina. We'll follow Highway 17 down into Florida, and then we'll come up through Georgia and Kentucky. Jesus, that's a lot to explore. America. Now, I'll come back for this camp in just a second. I want to grab up a couple more stories.
The hotel is an old manor house that's seen better days. A grand structure surmounted by a gambrel roof that dwarfs the house itself. It's eerily still, but for two boys at play. Each one so small and light, they barely leave tracks in the deep snow.
Now, the river said Ohio on it. How does this game translate to you as a Canadian? Does Canada have a similar cultural myth? No, I mean, this to me would be like playing this. I'm familiar, obviously, because North America is a cultural powerhouse, and Americana is everywhere. But I'm at a distance from it. You could do a Canadian version of this, but it would all be the part of Canada. So let me tell you this. So as a person who lives in BC and has lived in British Columbia pretty much my whole life, I lived a little bit in Alberta. Ontario and Quebec and the Maritimes are as far away from me as any part of America. Like, for me, the Pacific Northwest is home, and that's not just BC, Vancouver. It's Vancouver Island, the Gulf Islands, it's Seattle, it's all the way down to Portland. It's the whole coast of the West. That feels more like Cascadia is my like home mythosphere rather than like Canada, the country. It's an interesting thing that we have here in North America, in that we live in such big countries that one side is barely the same as another. The stories that you're going to hear in small towns in the sort of New England area, it's going to be real different from the Mid-Atlantic, etc. So there's all kinds of real interesting sort of sub-countries within a country like America, and that's what's so fascinating about America in general, right? That's so fascinating about such a big place. These kids are ghosts.
The clerk behind the counter is old, and your room key is worn. But night approaches, and the price is low. Just before you shut the room door, there they are, the twins, staring at you from the corridor.
Come and play with us, Danny. Forever and ever and ever. Creepy ass twins. Also, DS Chesson, hello, welcome.
In the morning, as you leave, the clerk asks, "Did you sleep well?"
No, dude. Fuck.
Too tired to lie, you tell him about the noise outside your door. The trampling of small feet on the corridor outside. The dreams disturbed with violent and hideous images. "That's odd," he says, weak-eyed. "There are no children staying with us." Low tide on a moonless night. This beach is long, stretching toward a receding sea. In the darkness, the sand seems coarse and gray, alien. The stars are dim and distant. It outshines the stars with its presence, a streak of sickly-colored light,
Oh, cool.
leaving a trail of distorted fire. It
Some mythos
slowly
shit.
creeps along the sky like a
Alright,
vast worm, though you know that, given the distance, it must be moving at great speed. Its parabola heads south to north. In the far distance, just for a second, a boardwalk town is engulfed
Oh,
in light.
yeah. This is some color out of space
With a
shit.
rumble, its street lamps and windows dim, then go dark.
Fuck.
All that you can see emanating from there is an otherworldly color that you can't quite name.
Goddamn parabolas. All right, I'm gonna hit this one and then we'll walk over to that other guy. Because this is an upgrade one, right? This kindly old man sharing the shade under the bridge tells you a few rambling stories, some true seeming, some conspicuously less so. All true, he assures you. There's history in this place, going all the way back to Indian times. Strange stuff happens around here. Sure it is. And then, as if to prove himself right, he launches into a story about the immortal seagulls. And this one, you know, it's a story of the seagulls and the fishermen, but wilder and stranger than you remember. See then? The old man laughs. I ain't pulling your leg. It's all true. So now the seagulls are immortal.
You come across a girl picking wild blueberries. She smiles and greets you.
Anin.
She offers you some from her birch bark basket.
Thanks, kid.
You reach in the basket for blueberries, but pull out a handful of small, smooth stones, all the colors of the rainbow. The snickering girl runs into the trees.
She's a fairy.
As fast and light as a rabbit.
Just throw rocks at her.
When the stones reach the top of their arc above your head, they turn into butterflies, all the colors of the rainbow. Your heart leaps in surprise. Incredible.
Taste the rainbow. Wow. Oh, that's cool. This is a cultural border. Look, so the northeast and the south. So it's not a state border. It's telling us like you're leaving the, again, the mythosphere, right? Which is super cool. All right, let's go back to that camp. Yeah, this has got some very, if American Gods is the modern White Wolf game, this game is the like historical version.
Sorry, friend, but I gotta ask you not to get no closer unless I can see your hands at all times.
All right, bud. Okay.
Look too clean to be one of us. But you don't look like the company sent you neither.
The company. Ooh, that sounds dangerous.
All right, come and share my fire spell. But don't linger. These hills is full of ears. Don't think just 'cause you can't see no one that you're safe.
Oh, I like this guy.
And I'll give you cornbread. Don't be so sure of me neither. See anything exciting out there on the road? Mostly I just seen dogs.
Okay, he wants an exciting story. Ooh, the story of the light from the sky near Richmond. That's pretty cool. That's exciting. I got lots of thrilling stories. The story of the rider in the woods near Philadelphia. I got a story about bootlegging. I got a story about... Let's see here. Some cool gay guys. I got a story about a time I got really high with a little kid. I can tell you a story about a winged goat. Or the strange street lost in time. I want to tell him the story about the light in the sky. I think that'll be a cool one. I seen aliens, son.
Are you trying to scare me?
What?
Every man in the last meeting I ran could tell you a story scarier than that right off the top of his head.
The last meeting I ran. Oh, maybe this guy's gonna like that socialist story.
Heaven? Honest pay for an honest day. Even now, I don't dare open my lips all the way around the words. I need a laugh. Know any good jokes?
Everybody asking me about jokes. I don't know any good joke stories, man. Tell you here, this is the only joke I know. I'm gonna tell you. Everybody else thinks it's funny.
You got some wit, stranger.
There you go. There you go, comrade.
The past. I remember looking between my mama's ankles down the road. Every evening, she'd be whispering. Still don't know if she would count the workers or praying about them.
Oh yeah, talking about workers. I need to find an excuse to tell this guy about that socialist.
Anyway, I need something to laugh about. Got any funny ones?
Stop asking me about funny ones, man. I guess I can tell him the story about Quinn's adventures again, because that's the other one I got there.
Oh boy, you watch out now, I'll start chuckling. Travel? Well, next time you take a train, take a peek on up at its beating heart. It's black breath. That's just what a mining man looks like inside him. Coal dust, smoke, and fire.
Damn.
See anything exciting out there on the road?
Hell yeah, I did.
Mostly I just seen dogs.
Let me tell you a thrilling story about a determined socialist. Let's see if he likes it. I don't know if it's that thrilling, but...
Well, just seems like wishful thinking to me.
Oh,
What's
interesting.
freedom? When the community decides what it's worth, setting the value of things together? You mean, when you don't answer to nobody? Just ain't possible, my friend.
Ah, cool. So he's more like run down. He doesn't believe that freedom's possible. Like, that's just how it
Got any
goes.
funny stories? Must have a couple.
You gotta stop asking me for jokes, dude, because I don't know any, like, at all, really. Some seagulls? Guy with some pigeons? I don't know, dog. I'm having a hard time with this dude. I know a story about how a rich guy got drunk and got hit by a train. It's kind of funny. Yeah, maybe I'll tell him a story about the Blueberry Fairy.
You reading to me out of a dime novel? That stuff ain't true. Home? I always wanted a little place where I could watch the sky change color, watch the cook fire smoke, dance up among the pines. Morning. I gotta get going. Headed up that way. Won't be specific, for my safety and yours. If you want to find me, then do it. Talk again about these things.
All right, man.
Hole ain't got no country. No worker neither. Worker ain't Virginian, ain't Christian, white, colored, Irish, Polish, nothing.
See, he talks like a fucking Marxist.
A worker is a worker. And we all gotta work. If you're one of them, if you think I sound red,
Ah, there it
you
is.
best come out and say so.
Oh, that's
Get
so
over it.
interesting. Ah, that's really cool that they, like, bait that, and then he acknowledges it. Ah, cool. Yeah, very, like, down-homey, very, like, it's not about politics, it's about the work. That dude was cool. That was a good one.